Python libraries are what makes Python so awesome. Today I'll talk about my 5 most useful Python libraries for data science. I'm Samanvay, a data scientist living in Sydney, Australia. I've been coding in Python for more than 6 years. And during that time, I've used tons of Python libraries to make my job as a data scientist easier. Today I want to talk about the most obvious packages for data science out there, like Numpy, Pandas, Matplotlib, Tensorflow, pytorch, or scikit-learn. These are pretty obvious packages that everyone uses as a data scientist or a machine learning engineer, and we all know how useful they are. Instead, I'll cover a little bit more niche packages that you might not have heard of that'll make your life as a data scientist easier. Let's start off with a personal favorite, TQDM. TQDM is a very simple library. It is a progress bar for your processes in Python, and it's an absolute game changer. As a data scientist, there'll be many occasions where you'll need to run lots of processes over a long period of time. An example of this process could be implementing a fix to millions of rows of data in a database and then executing a batch insert to updating those rows after some transformations or some calculations. Processes like this can take hours to complete. You need to be well aware of how long it's going to take and the progress of the process so that you can plan your work accordingly. And sometimes this can be time-sensitive fixes. One way to track the process would be simply to put in a couple of print statements inside your loops. But this is a faulty way of doing it for so many reasons. One of them is that it can easily clog up your terminal files, or it means creating an extensive log file, which you'll have to spend a couple of minutes digging through. So TQDM is the simple solution to all of these problems. Not only will it show you the progress of your task, it'll also show you how long it's taken as well as how long it's expected to take. So this is perfect for your process monitoring and management. The best of all, it fits in very nicely when you're using data frames. Next on my list is Seaborn. So you must have heard of Matplotlib, which I mentioned earlier. So this is the default and the most commonly used charting library available in Python. It's very quick to get started with, but there's a lot of customizations you need to do to make it look good. And I've never been a big fan of Matplotlib when it comes to creating beautiful visualizations. And that was until I discovered Seaborn. So Seaborn is an extension of Matplotlib, but with better visualization tools and better statistical plotting tools. So right out the gate, Seaborn charts look beautiful and amazingly aesthetic. And additionally, Seaborn works really well with data frames, to the point that a lot of the charting functions, they allow you to insert a data frame right into the function, as well as the column names where to extract data from. And just like that, it works seamlessly. So I couldn't recommend Seaborn highly enough. The next useful package I use is PyTest. As a Python developer, writing production code means writing tests for that code. These tests are designed to verify code functionality and make sure that it doesn't break the rest of the code base for your other users. The default library for testing is unit test. Whilst there's nothing wrong with unit tests, I found it a lot quicker and easier to get started with PyTest. There's less boilerplate required, and the failure messages to me seem a lot better than unit tests, which makes debugging your code a lot easier. Right out the gate, PyTest gives you a better user experience and a better functionality. Next on the list is Pillow. So Pillow is an updated version of the Python imaging library. It's an incredibly useful package to be dealing with images. You can use it for reading and writing images, cropping and rotating images, as well as turning them into grayscale. So OpenCV is another tool that you might use for image processing, and that's also been pretty good in my experience. Finally, the last library I use is the request library. Some of the more seasoned Python developers must be already familiar with request library because it's commonly used for lots of web crawler applications such as scraping websites. But in data landscape, I use request library to make HTTP calls to a variety of APIs. So when you're working in a large large team in a company, you'll be interfacing with APIs and other services from other teams to get the data you need to get your job done. And Request is the perfect library to be interfacing with those APIs. And in a lot of the cases, you'll also be downloading data from third-party APIs. There isn't that much boilerplate required to get going, it just works out of the box. So that's it for my top 5 most useful libraries in data science. If you enjoyed the video, then smash the like button. I'll see you next time.